This video shows how I made the last 2 pages in my botanical book. Thanks so much for watching. So in my video today, I plan to do the final 2 pages in this little botanical book. Whenever I get close to the end of a book like this, I try to look at what all the pages will look like when they're attached to the binding. These are not attached yet, I've just set them into the binding, but I wanted to see how they lay next to each other. And I just wanted to envision how this will look as a book with all of these little pieces hanging out of the top. And I like to be sure that my little things standing up are not all going up in the same place. So what this view tells me is that I need a few more little pulls all the way over on the right side. I have plenty in the middle and over on the left, but it would be nice to have a couple more things on this side. So I plan to have 8 total. I got 6 right now. One of the other steps that we haven't done yet is to add some little tags and inserts. So you might have seen some of my technique videos on how I made this tag. But I did that because we have all of these pockets that we created in these pages. We want to be able to fill the pockets. And one of the nice things is we can place things into the pockets so that we get that kind of staggering effect of these little pulls. So that's one thing to consider. So with the last 2 pages, I wanted to think about balance. I wanted to think about what I liked about these pages. I really love this one because of the button. I'm happy with my little circle embellishments. I used all the little stamps primarily because they were new and they were fun, but I like the consistency that it adds by having 1 or 2 on each of my pages. So those are my thoughts as I'm doing my final 2 pages. So in the last couple of days, I've done a couple of other pieces using Allison Bomber stamps. I was thinking it just might be nice to have a little bit more on the page than this Tim Holtz Forgotten Garden stamps. I really love these, but I just thought if I'm down to the last 2, I might try to do something new. So I did these 2 images, and I'm happy with the way they turned out. I like the way they are framed when I put them into these circle envelopes. Notice you don't get the whole flower, you just get a little, you don't get the whole stem, I should say. You just get a little view of lots of tiny flowers, but I really like this. This one, if you watched one of my technique shorts on how to control your dry line when you're painting a background, you might notice that all of these little berries have dry lines around them, and I did that intentionally. I put a wet blob of watercolor on each one and just let it dry so that I get those wrinkly little dry lines, and I love the way that turned out. So this is what I'm thinking about. I have these 2 pieces. I have some reinforcers pulled out that I could use. Any images like this that I have left over, I can easily turn into little inserts. I can add a little index tab at the top, or a little pull like I have with the other images. So they won't be wasted, but just thinking which ones I want to be focal images, I'm leaning towards these 2. So my next step will be to add some reinforcers. I'll do both of these on the right-hand side of the card because my book wants to have a few more things on the right-hand side. So I'm going to punch a hole, glue on my little reinforcer, and then add an eyelet to the center. So I've added my little reinforcers to my focal images, and I'm really happy with the way these two look in these little round circle envelopes. I put both of the holes on the right side so that wherever we put this on the page, it'll either wind up being on the center or at the right side. I'll probably do one towards the center and one towards the right side. So for the moment, I'll put this one aside and start working with this one. So right now I'm thinking this will go here, and I need a little bit of background stamping. I'm going to use my favorite Scrap Cozy Botanical script, and that will go either here or here. I'll do a few other little loopy things, like maybe this one. This is a Stampers Anonymous stamp. I might use this one over here on this side just to add a little bit of background stamping and a few numbers. So I think I'm close to having my collage pieces laid out. I finished my background stamping. I did the Botanical plates stamp that's sort of a theme stamp for this series here. This is in Petunia, and here it's in Seafarer. I repeated this little squiggle in Petunia, here and here and here, so that I had that color tied in. And as I said, I want this to go on the right side. I'll add a little collage piece under here and a little collage piece under here. And then on this side, I want something large on the corner, and then a rectangle overlapping it going this way. And then I have this postage stamp picked out that I am planning to have overlapping this window envelope and my collage pieces. So that's where I am. And I always like to repeat a little bit of stamping throughout. So if I use a number in one place, I try to use it in another place. And I had the figure 4 on this envelope, so I added a little figure 4 to this piece. I might add a little bit more to that as I get closer to the end, but this is where I am now. So I'm going to glue these pieces down, and then I'll be right back. So most of my collage pieces are down, and the next step is to glue this envelope down. And one of the things that I always have to remind myself to do is to not add glue too high up on the envelope because this top part will be showing. So I only want glue below where I've marked my pencil line. So the last piece I'm going to add right now is this stamp, which is going to go right here. This is one of the stamps in the new Tim Holtz Ideology collection. And I just really love the color, especially with these sort of dark blue purples, the greens that are in the image, in this Seafarer ink. It's really perfect. So, I want the corner to touch the circle. I want to overlap these pieces that are part of my collage. I'll use my bone folder to go over this, just to get it to stick to this lower surface. I think I'd initially thought it would go more over these, but I really like the way it overlaps the circle envelope. Okay, I know it needs a button, needs one other circle. So this page is pretty much finished. I've added all of my collage elements and my button, a to go and up button. And I really love the way this little image looks in this circle envelope. I wish I had thought of this from the beginning. Originally I was looking for small images that looked like they would fit nicely in this circle, and I think it looks so much more interesting if you have a larger image and you can see just a detail of it. So I'm very happy with this. I need to do my strips and make it into a pocket so that I can add another tag later on. But it's pretty much done and I'm very happy with it. I have my collage pieces planned out and my background stamping done. A couple of little pieces of my composition book here, another little piece here, a little piece of Tim Holtz Ideology, this beautiful Botanical script stamp. I hate to cover any of it up, but I need some collage pieces under it. So my collage pieces are all glued down. I added these little pieces of the composition book here, another piece of the composition book up in this left corner, and some ideology pieces, these stamps, and this little paper piece. So the last thing is a button. I need to add my little piece of twine to the corner of this card, and I need to add my little side pieces to make this a pocket. I'm happy with the color of this button. I think it looks nice.